Oh gosh, Sherry, I was gonna tell you something, I can't remember. Oh, he brought water, good, I'm gonna go through all of this. Can't see it, not on it.
So are the gentlemen of Eagles Landing playing golf in this heat?
I'm staying inside as much as I can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was about to say you'd melt on the golf course. Actually, I guess some people do play, but they get up early. They play at 6 or 7 in the morning.
I'm not a golfer. I got
Oh.
enough frustration.
Hey, are you guys talking, do we put this down there, or should I just write your name down? You can leave now, Chuck.
Yeah, but we do have a couple.
Hi, wow, nice tan.
Who's gonna talk? I'll just put, oh, you wanna put up?
Yeah, you got it?
Yeah, I got your number. You're gonna be the only one talking?
I think so, unless Chuck needs a rebuttal.
Chuck always needs something to say.
Okay.
Have you started using Windows 11 yet?
What was I gonna tell you? Oh, I know what I was gonna tell you.
Oh, hello, Michelle.
Michelle is on.
We've got dual screen.
Oh, she must be in the hospital. But she said, she'd either be in the car.
Hello, Michelle.
You have your mic muted.
You got to
Michelle.
unmute.
Michelle, you're on mute. Mute.
Nope.
You're still muted.
Look at that face.
Do you know sign
Oh,
language?
now you're
You're
on.
on.
Okay.
Okay.
We
You're
can hear-
inside?
I can't hear you now.
Still, or?
I can hear you now.
All right. Are you inside?
Hey, I'm back at,
Back
yeah,
at the house. Everything okay, going all right?
yeah, he was, John's mom's gonna stay there, so if she needs me to pick her up, I might have to go and pick her up.
Yeah.
If she's not able to stay the whole time, but other than that, I'm here.
Okay. Go when you have to. No problem. I guess for that.
Thanks.
Oh, I sent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm sure he's not. This is just sort of.
Did I include him in that evaluation? No, I didn't. And Fran, okay. Okay, great. I keep thinking of my other.
You don't.
I know.
Got this. No.
Yeah, got it.
Oh, yeah, just hot. Yeah. Oh, just hot.
I didn't make it.
Doesn't matter what you do. It's hot.
Okay.
That is life.
How you feel? Good.
Are you trying to do this Windows 11 thing?
I know. I was just asking if anybody had done it. Have you done a version over yet?
We have to put it on 4 different machines?
What's the problem with it? I mean,
It's just like it eats processor. Like cycles. Like just,
All right, now I got to. Please let me believe I have a new computer.
is that because of the?
that's a Xeon processor, server processor. Two i7s we have, one i5.
So it takes a lot of bandwidth, is what you're saying.
Oh, good.
It's a big because 11's supposed to make it easier to use apps and regular programs together, but sort of like the Android.
Eh, I mean, like it runs all right on the i7 that we have that's unlocked. The i7 that's locked, not so great.
They made changes.
The Xenon does IE, that's a server processor. The 5,
Stop supporting it.
the 5's like, nope, ain't having it. Too bad, so sad.
Is it a desktop or a laptop? Good.
That's what I thought was.
Page files seem shrunk in size a little bit.
Hi, Kevin.
What does that mean? So, oh yeah, I need to let y'all know, I had to order a new checkbook.
Oh, you had to order a new checkbook?
Yeah, because me and my coffee got in a fight, and the checkbook lost.
Wait, whoa. Your coffee got into a fight?
And the checkbook lost.
Oh, oh. Is that your personal or for the LCBA?
Well, she had the, luckily they had the whole system checked.
Yeah, oh, so you've already gone down and seen it. Okay, yeah,
Right
well, now,
across the street.
what street? Now, this, yeah, hold on. I haven't.
No, you don't. Who gave it to you?
I bought it.
No, you didn't.
Yes,
You lied.
I did. It's a Toshiba.
So, have y'all heard of the Raikou virus, ransomware?
No.
No.
LQ Distributing got hit with it. They had this old server they hadn't been using, and they decided to upgrade everything to Windows 10. And Windows 10 instantly goes out of domain looks for time servers, so it can set its time. The lady in the front office, they connected to their PC, which they had to use it forever. Infected her machine.
Oh, no.
And just went on to.
Well, no, it stopped there, or they called me, because she was like, I keep trying to set my time, but it won't set, it won't set. So I went up there to look, and every time I would click on something, it would throw up Internet Explorer and say, this is Raikou, the story and death of so-and-so. And then I got to digging. They've had it on their server since 10/27/2019.
Oh, my gosh.
So she lost all of them.
But are they making an offer to give her access back for a fee? No.
It's
Okay,
gone.
Okay.
And this just happens to be one of those ransomwares that nobody has a decryptor for it. So I looked at Miss Q, I was like, what do you want to do? She goes, well, can you clean the server? I was like, are you sure you want to waste that kind of time? She goes, what do you mean? She's like, you're looking at a solid 8 hours. I mean, $150 an hour.
Wow. But,
She was not cheap. And she goes, because nobody knew what the box did. Like, they just knew it was a server. So we disconnected the network from it. They ran 2 days. They're like, oh yeah, we don't need it all. It's free.
So then just totally disconnect and get rid of that.
Until they had to rebuild the machine.
oh my gosh.
Yeah. Hard boot, huh?
Oh yeah, like complete from scratch. Yeah. You want me to go make copies?
That'd be good. So,
Yeah, I have one.
All right.
Okay.
I saw it. I posted it,
But you didn't.
but I didn't print a copy. That would have just made too much sense, right?
Of course. All right. What time is it? Oh, it's time. Oh, well, I'll wait for Kevin since he's been.
Recording in progress.
Okay. We can open this. As soon as I put on my glasses.
Yeah, no, I like that.
Okay. All right. We'll call the meeting to order, and we now have open for public comment. John? Oh. It's not on? There's a button.
Oh, you gotta push the button first.
Yeah. In the back for that one.
Check it. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I've got 2 items to bring to your attention to get on the record. The first is, on July 8th, Rob Whitman released a statement regarding the new Northern Neck Broadband project. In that statement, he mentioned 7,200 underserved homes and businesses that will gain access to high-speed internet. Attached to that letter, or attached to his statement, was a letter dated September 18th, 2020, to the Director of the Office of Broadband for Virginia, and that letter mentioned a VATI grant application to provide fiber to the home for 4 counties, those counties being King George, Northumberland, Richmond, and Westmoreland. Now, it's our understanding that Lancaster County, and specifically the LCBA, signed a memorandum of understanding with All Points Broadband to be included in Phase 2 of the project. But it's also our understanding that this was funded by the Rural Digital Opportunity Fund as opposed to VATI. So we understand the participation in the program will be based on the underserved status as of the date of the MOU, that the MOU is signed. So I'm just hoping that we can clear up any misunderstanding that we may have, and hopefully that y'all can provide an update to this project since it doesn't appear to be on the agenda.
Yeah, I can tell you a couple of things. One, we are in phase 2. That the groundbreaking that occurred
That's for phase one.
was for Phase 1.
Right.
That recently occurred. And they have not applied for VATI for the next Phase 2, but it's expected they will be because they got the rules of VATI changed, that they now can overlay VATI money on top of RDOF money.
Okay. Okay, so
There's
the
caveats
funds
with it.
can be commingled now?
That, the
Apparently.
state is doing it, made the decision that they can overlap
And we are-
the state VATI funds onto RDOF.
Okay, and Lancaster did sign the memorandum of understanding?
Yes.
Which established the timeline when the underserved designation has been established?
That's my understanding.
Okay.
Because they were just here, Nicholas may remember the week they were here, I think in June, going and doing their survey to see where the underserved are, so forth. And so we're waiting to get that, and Gary's provided them information on some questions they had. So it falls in their court, APB's court, to come back to us and say, all right, this is what we found, here's where we think there's a problem, or whatever it may be.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, we're all very interested in the results of that study.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
Just so you know, a lot of the details won't be released until after the SEC commission approval because they're concerned about competitive
Okay,
nature of that.
got it, okay.
Okay.
Thank you. And the second item was, and this is mainly to provide you guys an update. As you're aware, Broadband Telecom Services acquired the assets of Signawave, which is the company that has been providing service to some of the homeowners in Eagle Landing subdivision. Also, 20 Eagle Landing homeowners were part of the first 50 customers to sign up for the CARES Act broadband service. We did have a meeting with Mr. Biku, which is the president of BTS, on June 9th, and he did agree that the subscribers within Eagle Landing will be part of the CARES project, which it wasn't heading that way prior to the meeting. So we're glad he sees it that way, and we thank whatever effort it took to get him to see it that way. And they are already in the process of upgrading some of the old Signawave equipment accordingly. We also want to let you know that while they've had their struggles, BTS is working very diligently to provide us service now. As of this morning, they have 4 of the former Signawave customers converted to the CARES equipment and are working to install others. They were doing a few others today.
Are any of those y'all?
One was me and one was my neighbor.
How's that working out?
Well, it's not being served from the tower here. It's being
Yeah.
served from the water tower in Kilmarnock. But it's still the equipment that is getting us maybe 15 to 16 on a
But
big day.
like constant, or is that fluctuating?
I can't say constant because they just installed me like 2 days ago.
I got you.
And they're still tweaking software, rebalancing their system, both from a hardware standpoint and a software system. But the more they do, the more installations they get under the belt, the more
Right.
they feel comfortable with it and the more knowledge they're getting.
What were the uploads? You said 15?
15, yeah, 12 to 15. Some people closer to the old clubhouse tower getting close to 20, 25. But I'm not sure that they're going to be consistently getting us 25. But we'll see.
Yeah, no, but uploads,
Uploads are around 4, yeah.
okay, so uploads are okay?
Uploads are okay.
Okay, it's the
Downloads are
downloads.
still not hitting the 25.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, and so you said they're going from the water tower, is that going across the river first?
It's going from, right now, it's going from the water tower to the tower at the clubhouse. And
Okay.
to pick up the 2 of us
Okay.
that they did do, they had to bounce it to a repeater across the river and come back up the river to
Okay,
get to
that's
my
what I
house.
was,
Yes.
wondering
So
if
it's still kind of a lot of daisy chains to
That's
get to
that,
it.
is that diagram you sent us, Nicholas?
That was part of it, yes.
Right.
Of using the water tower and the repeater pole at Eagles Landing as a way to get the signal to propagate better down towards Eagles Landing.
But I mean, I will give these guys credit. They're working hard. They've been in my house 5 times in this last week, like for hours, so. They're really struggling. Yeah, there's still a lot of the interior lots that they may have problems serving, and they're starting to recognize that.
It's a tree issue
Because of the
though, right?
trees and the terrain, so
Oh.
there's still magic to be worked, but we'll see. And so our other request is, I don't think CARES project is specifically on the agenda for today either, but if you could provide an update as to what's happening outside of Eagle Landing regarding the CARES, we'd appreciate it if you have knowledge of that.
Anything to update on that, Nicholas, on CARES that you're aware of? outside of Eagles Landing, what they're doing?
Not specifically to that, just, you know, I was gonna give a brief update on, the BTS,
Same thing.
which I could do now, or if it's,
No, we can wait till it's on the agenda, it's fine, so whatever fits. We just want to make sure that was noted.
Okay.
Thank you all.
All right.
You know, can I also give a shout out to Mr. McCullough? I don't know if anybody's reviewed the LCBA website lately, but with his assistance, we have made some pretty nice improvements.
Yes.
And
like the
I want to
fading.
say thank you, snaps or shout out, whatever it is these days. Thank you.
Thank you, John. It really is good, really good.
Beer, okay.
Chuck will pay for it. Thanks, John. Okay. All righty, the minutes. Do you want to say anything, Michelle, or you want me to do it? Anything you want to say about the minutes? I brought them with me.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I had submitted the minutes to you some time ago, the last 2 meetings, and I've got the comments back, incorporated them and sent them today, and I just I got a few edits from Cherie on the one meeting, and then Gary, just a little while ago, you sent some edits or comments on another meeting, but I was just trying to pull them up before the meeting, so I couldn't tell if they're substantive or not, or if they're just edits. You let me know?
Which one do we want to talk about?
I can start on the June 2nd, do them in
Okay.
order.
June 2nd, I had some changes, things that are attributed to me that I did not say. And so I deleted that out. And also, I think there's a statement in there that is incorrect. But if you guys want to put it in there, that's fine.
You sent that to her?
I sent it out to everybody, but to
when
be
did you s-
honest, I only got the final minutes when I got in here, and I then sent those comments out on 6/2.
So those,
So we can look at them.
so you don't have those
It doesn't
comments?
look like
I'm sorry, but didn't get that.
I think we're kind of like down to very small changes, is that right, Gary? And
I
is
think
it something
so.
we could look at right now and decide?
Oh, okay, I didn't print them out, figuring it was too late to go ahead and do it here, but,
Do you know where they were, what they were?
yeah, that's, what I'm trying to do is call it up here, and. let's
Just
see
so
if-
that I understand, Gary, you made changes today on top of the changes that Michelle sent out, that incorporated your changes and my changes from a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Is that correct? So,
Is it only to June 2nd, or any for June 16th?
June 16th is easier, I think, to do. Oh, shit.
he wasn't at that meeting, was he? Is that the one where it says Gary wasn't there? Or was that Kevin who wasn't
That
there?
was me.
That was Kevin.
Yeah, that was
16th, I wasn't
Kevin.
there.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that was Kevin.
I was getting teeth yanked out my head. Well, I got them yanked out on the 15th, but.
I don't see anything from the,
Gary?
Yeah, I'm trying to call it up so I can.
I only see one for the meeting on the
Which
the
one?
June 2nd. I don't see anything for the
For the 16th?
other meeting. 16th. I don't see anything further than you on the 16th, other than the
Yeah, I don't have
change.
any problems with the 16th.
All right, the
I mean-
He's
16th.
fine with the 16th. He didn't have further comments.
Yeah, did you hear?
I
that?
didn't think, okay, so
Okay.
June 16th is fine.
Okay, well, while
Okay, so
okay. Well,
then
we'll,
let's, the
why don't we take a
seconds.
vote on the 6th? Gary's trying to get his computer together so he can look at his comments for the June 2nd. Let's see if anybody want to make a motion about June 16th so we can get those out of the way? Since there were no other comments for that?
Sure. Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for June 16th.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. 16th are approved.
Okay, let's see, on,
Okay, I've
can
got
you-
the
Can you bring it up and then everybody can see the comments? I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. I think the first correction, okay,
paragraph number?
under B on page 2. So it said, Dr. Gary Soren presented a chart he prepared, I think it listing his perception, and I took that out and put a non-exhaustive list of pros and cons of the LCB owning and operating a fiber network. He requested and I think that the rest is the same.
Gary, the one I'm looking at says, Dr. Gary Silverman presented a chart he prepared, non-exhaustive list of the pros and cons of the LCBA owning and operating fiber network. Is there a change you're making to that?
No, that's the change.
But it's in there.
No, it's in this version.
It's in
Oh.
her, her
Oh, it's
final
not-
revised version is there.
No, the final revised, did not, if it's in there, did you already put that in there, Michelle?
No, I think what Gary's saying is he has changed, he took out from the last one that I sent this morning, or
Oh.
late this morning, whatever. He took out listing his perception and
Okay.
changed it to non-exhaustive list. I'm fine with
Yeah,
that change.
I'm fine with that, too. I've got yours open, Gary, and it's not reflecting red lines. It's just a
Okay,
clean
well,
copy.
I have it
Yeah.
on here. You can see
Okay,
the red
so,
line.
all right, so what's the next one?
And the window, I'm trying to see, let's see.
So is it then in the paragraph
Yeah,
beginning
your
Cherie
chair-
Kaiser?
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
I
APB.
took out one sentence and I'm trying to find where.
It's down, go down, go
Oh,
down,
keep going down here.
right there. Disagreed with Dr. Gray.
Yeah,
Very-
I took out that and then just stated, said in making the decision to enter into a public partnerships funded by federal and state grants instead of LCA spending millions. I believe that's a misleading, well, I corrected it by saying LCBA spending millions. It's not really the people, it's LCBA, because we would be on the hook of that, for that money.
LCBA doesn't have any funds.
When
We
you
have no funds.
When you set up basically, what we're saying is, the option is to go ahead and starting a business. And I agree with you, the first couple of years, there is no money. However, you do have income once you start having people, and the whole concept of doing this is
Gary?
to have,
Can we just pause a second? Because what Michelle has put in here, she's the secretary of the LCBA, and she was taking notes of what was said. And that is what I said in response to what you were putting forward. So that's
Okay.
exactly what I said. I will stand by my comments. I mean, if you want to tell the public you think that what I said was misleading, I have no problem with that.
okay.
That's just her quoting me. If you
Okay.
want her to put quotes around it, I'm okay with that, but I think that that's what she's doing throughout this entire thing. She's a secretary taking minutes of what is said at the meeting.
Okay, okay. So then I would like to have something in, this is misleading because LCBA assumes the cost. not-
Gary, you have an opportunity when we have meetings to discuss, and you had a lot to say that day. We're not going to narrate the meetings now. That event happened and it's passed. It's over.
Okay. So you're going to beat me down on something that I...
I'm not beating you down, I am trying to ensure the integrity of the process. And the process is that you have a board of directors, and they have a secretary, and meetings are held, and somebody takes the minutes of those meetings, and then they're recorded, and they're put up on the website so that the public knows what happened at the meeting. And lots of times, people say lots of things that people can disagree with. But that's what happens in an exchange of ideas. But you don't then go back to the recorded record of the meeting, which is the minutes, and say, well, I really want to say this now. That's not what minutes are.
No, but first off, I didn't hear that part, and I'm not going to say that you didn't say it. I just said I didn't hear that part, okay? And as I point out, I believe that's misleading. The other one, you're attributing things to me that I was not indicating, and that's where I made the changes in the first paragraph, okay? And that's my issues with it. So if you guys want to vote this forward, that's fine. That's the decision of the other.
If you want to change something that she got wrong that you said, then maybe you should do that. But Michelle usually does an excellent job of the minutes meeting. I remember saying this. I'm fine with this. And whatever you changed in the first part, I'm fine with that too. But I do not want there to be a pattern of people coming back after the fact and changing the record from what it should be based upon what the secretary has recorded.
Okay.
That is just bad policy for
Okay.
any governmental body, which we are.
Okay, I understand your point.
Okay?
I don't agree with some of the things, but okay, I understand your point, though.
All right, so the first
Okay.
change is,
So can I'm going to add a comment, Gary. I think that it could easily addressed is, I will say, Kaiser stated that she disagreed with blah, 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 and so forth, and leave it in like that. I will just say, but I'll make it clear that she stated, because it is what she stated, whether or not you think it's misleading, it is what she stated.
Okay.
That's fine with me.
so that addition, basically 3 words. And that can be accepted? Okay. Anything else? On the, we're doing the second, on this particular minutes? I don't see anything.
Say, Michelle, where did you put that? At the beginning or in the middle?
Where did I put what?
Your sta-
Cherie Kaiser stated.
Are you saying down at
Oh.
the 4th line?
In that, what I would suggest is beginning in paragraph, well, referring you to paragraph B initially, and then under B, 1, 2, it starts where we're discussing, is the 3rd paragraph under there. And the first sentence is you express concern, and the next sentence begins with, Cherie Kaiser disagreed with Dr. Gary Silverman's suggestion. I mean, I think it's overkill, but I was going to say Cherie Kaiser stated that she disagreed, and let that, continue that sentence as my draft that I sent back this morning.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's fine with
that's
me.
where I put it down.
Okay.
It obviously stated you disagree. I mean,
Yeah, no, that works for me if that works for
before
Dr.
every
Silverman.
sentence, I could say, so-and-so stated, so-and-so stated. I could just use that word every time, but that kind of gets
Sure.
unnatural, I think. So, but I will do that for this particular one, since there is a concern about it being clear.
Yep.
Any other changes? I didn't see any in here. Did
I
I miss
have red
something?
lines on this, but I think they're previous ones. But those were my 2 comments.
Okay. All righty. I have a motion.
So,
I'm
to be
sorry.
clear for 1 second, and so any other changes that here, it's just because when you made those changes, Gary, you made them to the track changes document I had sent to you this
Yeah.
morning. So
Yeah.
that's why it looks like there's a lot of changes.
Right, but I thought that was the appropriate one to make changes since it was just sent out. That was the most recent one sent out.
The others are in.
Well, there's a clean one.
Yeah. No,
So just for future, what she does is she has a consolidated track changes, and then she has that consolidated track change document also provided in clean. So when you make new changes, other than what's been made previously, it's best to make them on the clean, because then you see only what are the new changes.
Okay. No problem doing it that way.
All right, so do I hear a motion? I'm sorry, Michelle.
No, I was just saying, okay.
Okay. All right, do I have a motion, reapproval of the minutes for the 2nd of June with, it's so changed, the first change in the earlier paragraph and the insertion of those 3 words in that B, D, whatever one it was, I forgot, B, I think.
I make a motion for approval of the minutes with the changes as discussed.
All right, I'll second it. All in favor? Aye. They are approved.
I'll second the motion.
Beat you to it. Oh, one thing I should have put in here, just under minutes, it's nothing to do with the minutes. Since we're only meeting once a month, when the monthly is due, which, Michelle, you have plenty of time now for a change to get done, who wants to present the monthly this month on the 28th, 29th? Forgot which date it is. Do I have a volunteer to do the monthly?
You mean to the Board of
To
Supervisors?
the Board of Supervisors. Yeah, Michelle did last month. I did the 2 months before that. Nobody else wants to do it. It is the 29th. Don't all jump up at once.
I'm not in town,
Oh,
so.
you're out of town.
The
Sorry,
29th
Kev-
of this month?
Yeah,
Yeah, the July.
July.
This is their July board meeting. Mm-hmm. From now on, it'll be about a week after
I
our
thought they
meetings.
met the fourth Thursday of every month.
Is that the 4th or, wait a minute.
29th is the fifth Thursday.
1, 2, 3, oh, I'm sorry, it's the 22nd.
Yeah,
I'm so used to it being at the end of the month. Thursday was the 1st.
I can do it.
All right, Kevin. All right, Kevin will do the monthly, Michelle,
What time is that meeting? 7:30?
7 o'clock,
7 o'clock.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are they all going to do it on the 29th?
I'll look in Don's office.
It'll be on his calendar for
Yeah,
sure.
that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Either way, either date, I got it.
Oh, you got it, all right.
Is it
It's the
29th?
29th?
29th, I was right.
Okay.
All right, monthly, the 29th. All right, Kevin will do the monthly. And you've got 2 whole weeks, Michelle. She's frozen.
Is that for her monthly report?
Yeah,
He didn't.
it's the 29th. Glenn just did it, and Kevin will do it. Thanks, Kevin.
No problem.
Okay. I'm not aware of, nobody gave me any new business, so there wasn't any to put on here. Now, we have old business. Nicholas and I, what day did we do this? Last Wednesday, whatever, had the Batty Management Team meeting. Michelle, did you have a question?
We had a motion to approve and a second, and then we didn't have a vote.
We did have.
We had a vote.
We had a vote, and everybody,
I
yeah.
couldn't,
Oh,
Couldn't hear it.
sorry, yeah.
Sorry.
All 4 approved.
okay. All 4, everybody who's there approved?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I approved, okay.
With the edits that you.
Yeah, with the edits that you talked about.
That I heard, okay.
Okay. At this meeting, we told you about a month ago, there was the, in order to have the contract, we had the management plan, and this had to be submitted by today to DHCD for them to study and everything and come back with a negotiated contract. It was submitted yesterday, which was great, so everything is into the ball's in DHCD's court. And they have to come back to us now to say, well, there was this problem or whatever. All signatures were gotten, et cetera. Anything about that from yesterday with the management team, project management team, Nicholas, that, anything else we should?
The one on the 8th, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so everything was submitted, which is good, so that starts the contract process moving forward. we did hear some good things that, Atlantic Broadband is deploying more, fiber where there's any significance of significant build. So instead of doing, hybrid fiber coax, they're leaning more and more towards the, a fiber build, which is good. We don't know exactly where that's gonna happen, but I thought it was, it's a good sign. I think they're starting to see competition, in their rearview mirror, and they're stepping up their game. And in fact, the president of Atlantic Broadband was in Lancaster County and authorized some additional builds, I believe. We don't know where they are, but once again, I think they see the handwriting on the wall, but they got to step up their game. So all good stuff. Where they do have existing hybrid fiber coax, they're reducing, not to get too technical, but node +6 and node +3, so they're really cutting in half the amount of people that are hanging on a node, which would help throughput and latency. So even their existing network's going to be improved and they do have plans in the near future to upgrade to remove the old network and upgrade that.
Does that
It's
include,
it's on the horizon, but they don't have a timeline for that yet.
does that include upgrading the equipment in the NOC?
I'm not, Kevin, I really don't know. We didn't get that much detail, so we kind of got a high level. But once again, I think it was, and Cassie, correct me if I'm wrong, I walked away feeling that ABB is going to do more than what they signed up for because they see the need to.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Bill Newberg made the comment, something like the president said, well, why aren't we just doing this? And it was a pretty significant build. So that's good. What I didn't realize, which they told us, is that the minimum bandwidth they provide now is 50 down and 2 up. And any resident in Lancaster County can get 250 megabits down and 20 up. So I thought it was lower than that. So they're above the, at least on the download, the 25 megabit speed. And people can get up to 20 megabits up if they buy the 250 megabit download speed package. So,
$75.
and so that's really all the update. I think it's moving along nicely. I know Gary had sent out an email with the project plan at being somewhat kind of high level, but there was we did find out because I brought that up to him. There was a lot more detail behind it, but DHCD did not want to see all that detail in their project plan, so it was kind of just scaled up at a high level for DHCD.
Bill was saying on that topic that there were 53 projects with a number of tasks under each of them and those milestones. It's just, as Nicholas said, DHCD doesn't want to see all that. That's behind the scenes to be worked out here. He also mentioned on the upgrades that in about 2 years, those upgrades Nicholas was referring to could be coming about in Lancaster.
So, all right, so the dynamic I'm getting up from this conversation was the president's like, why aren't we doing this? And Bill was like, oh, is that?
No, I wouldn't say that. I think Bill was shocked that they're going to release capital funds to do some of these upgrades.
All right.
So I think they're anxious to do them. With all that's going on, the additional capex that the parent company is going to be allocated to Lancaster County will probably be, after their battery requirements.
Yeah, just so from a historical perspective, this is what ABB promised us 3 years ago when we first started talking to them.
Well, and that's true, Gary, but 2 years ago, they didn't have another company or multiple companies
coming in.
overbuilding them into the area.
C word, competition. They didn't have competition 3 years ago,
Well,
basically.
there's also the possibility that something going on in the background we might not realize is that they cover all this Dominion area. Dominion still needs those houses to be on the SmartNet, so it might be a little, hey, we better get our stuff straight if we want to provide that service to Dominion, ultimately.
And whatever is behind the scenes, we'll take it, as long as it means
Yeah.
upgrades. That's the bottom line, so. It was a good meeting. It was a good meeting. All right. Anything else on that, Nicholas? I didn't mention?
No, I think that's kind of covers the valley right now, where we stand.
All righty.
Just to add on to, and I should have stuck it in received them. I do apologize. Gary and I did speak with one of the other RDOF winners, Starry, which is a fixed wireless solution, on July 2nd. We reached out to them, and Gary, correct me if I'm wrong, they have like 200 subscribers, maybe?
No, they have 70 and Starlink has 36 if
Okay, so about 70, not 200. And so we had a quick call with them. The call is more of a sales call, why they're so great. They haven't really investigated Lancaster County, the terrain, or how the technology may work. Gary did forward him some information on some GIS information that hopefully will help them with the terrain, any towers we have and things like that. So we should probably have a follow-up call with them. But I'm familiar with Starry. They seem to be a good company, but they're more, Boston, New York, DC area, more metropolitan areas, not rural, heavily forested areas. So we'll see what happens.
And just so you know, furthermore, their technology is actually less than BTS's. BTS is in gigahertz, and these guys are
900.
Yeah, 900. Yeah, so they're point 0.9 or 0.7 gigahertz.
Well, they're using 24 gigahertz signaling as opposed to the CBRS.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
So
So,
about a factor of 10.
so they were talking more about having repeaters on the power poles and whatnot to get there. And to be honest, it's only roughly 70 homes.
In that area for them.
They are two areas, right around Christ Church, which has about
Mm-hmm.
46 parcels there.
Which has miserable cell phone signal.
Yeah. And then there's, the other one is the top peninsula where there's about 16 homes out on the end. Actually, it is Fleet Bay Road, if you know where that is, but that's the top peninsula in our
Goes right by my
county.
house.
Okay, so that, yeah, so I'm not sure that makes a lot of sense out there. And then the only thing I think I can add on to that, you might have picked it up in my comments from the groundbreaking ceremony. VATI is allowing their money to go over RDOF areas, and Kyle Rosner, not Cosner, I'm sorry, I was thinking 9 Ways of Kevin Costner. Well, the 9 degrees or whatever it is. Anyway, okay, whatever it is. What he told me is he's encouraging everybody to submit to VATI the other RDOF areas, because I asked him about Starry and what he knew about them and stuff like that. And he's encouraged everybody to submit, so he has encouraged APB to include that RDOF. People can challenge, the two sites. And also, by the way, VATI doesn't recognize Starlink as a viable funding. So those 36 homes can be covered under VATI.
Yeah.
But anyway, he says they can protest against it, and then what he said is they're going to force them, if they win the protest, to sign an MOU that they will complete it within 18 months, which is consistent
Yeah.
with the
With
VATI
VATI,
program.
yeah.
So, again, crudely, I don't have the absolute number yet from APB, but it's gone up roughly 100 over the 2,700. So I don't know if that, because he heard that information, or the exchange of data said there were roughly that many more. Anyway, we need the final numbers. We need to check where they are and understand that before we really make any formal statement.
So one clarification, I got a little bit confused there. We were talking about VATI, and then you were talking about APB.
Right.
APB going to 2,800, and before that, you were talking about VATI will cover the 70 unserved homes that are identified for Starry and Starlink
Well, but essentially.
It can.
Yes.
in
other words,
Lancaster County.
They can, in other words, they're saying, my initial perception was only the RDOF winner could apply for VATI, with VATI going over it. And what Kyle Rosner basically told me is, you can apply for other RDOF. Anybody can apply for any RDOF area, basically, even ABB if they really wanted to, okay? And what they'd have to do, likely there would be a challenge if they were really serious about that area. Starlink really doesn't have a foot to stand on since our state, the rules for VATI says it can't be there. And so they can apply for it, and if it's rejected, it's, you know, there's a challenge process in the VATI proposal.
It'd be interesting to see if they do.
But that doesn't have anything to do with APB.
APB is putting in for a VATI proposal.
Oh, for
For the
2022?
second round.
Yes.
For the second round?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, not
okay.
this current one.
Okay, okay.
No, no.
That's the
Not this
confusion.
current APB.
Okay.
No, it's the next
They're
one.
gonna,
It's due September,
yeah, no, that makes
Okay,
complete
so-
sense
Yeah.
to
Okay.
get more
Yeah, it-
funding.
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah,
and I don't think,
okay.
we.
Sherry, I think Gary's conversation hinges on my story update, not on the VATI update. That's probably
Okay,
what.
okay, all right, thank you for that. Okay, all right. It's all good news.
I did promise a BTS update, which
Yes.
I don't, I mean, at the earlier, so I don't have too much, but, as of 7/6, there was 16 installs, which granted have kind of, you know, has been slow, on a week-by-week basis, but I think they've been doing, as we know now, a lot of behind-the-scenes work with the water tower and the relay tower. And hopefully with that, you know, with those two sites up and running, the propagations of the signals will be better, and they'll be able to turn up customers faster and more quickly without having, because they'll have a stronger signal. So we'll see how that goes. But it's been promising, I think, with some of the results they've been getting. You know, they have up to 100 megabit link on one or two of the links. I did speak with Jeff regarding the 25% payments to the LCBA, and he's investigating his accounting system would be able to pull that out with you know, once they're turned up, and then we could forward them, you know, to another account, whether the LCBA holds it or it's an account that the county holds. But that shouldn't be a problem.
Did you discuss any kind of time frame for that funding process, like quarterly payments, real-time payments?
I did not discuss that with him yet. I figured we'll see what his system can do.
Okay,
But it almost seems, you know, monthly might be, you know, or even quarterly, but maybe monthly might be the best way to go. We have to discuss that.
yeah, no, that's what I was thinking is monthly. The 16 customers that have been signed up for BTS, 4 of those are Eagle Landing then, correct?
I believe so, yes.
And now I'm going to go back to this concept of other competitors coming into the market of where BTS serves. And if they've got 16 customers, but Atlantic Broadband or APB cover any of that territory?
For,
It's where-
The BTS area?
Yes.
Yes,
It will be.
okay. So, or for example, Eagles Landing. The rest of it, we have 4 customers in Eagle Landing. I don't know how many customers we would have that BTS would serve under the CARES program, but 20. So the other competitors roll into the market, they're ready to serve. I assume that those customers, 20 that signed up for BTS but have not received service, would still be considered unserved and could shift to a competitor in order to obtain service.
I think that's a true statement.
Correct? Yeah.
The only thing I'm concerned now is with them applying for VATI, because VATI is the grants that we were awarded from the CARES came from the governor's office, which is being monitored by DHCD. Okay, so they will know when we turn in our report, is due January 22nd, I believe, 2022, if those areas are covered. Now, another interesting thing Kyle said to me, make sure that you also put in every underserved, and I said, well, define underserved, because it's so loose, and he says, well, even 25-3 is going to be considered, in other words, they're going to let it go through, and because the money is going to be huge this year. Not only do they have the 50 million, we'll know in the next couple of days what the budget from the CARES Act is, but the implication at the thing was it's going to be near $1 billion that they're going to put into broadband, the state, okay? McDougal first got up trying to say, we hope this is going to be 25%, and Northrum came up and said, I think you'll be very happy with our budget. So I don't know exactly what the number is, and we'll find out Thursday or Friday when it's announced. But, so with all that money behind it, I'm not sure that they're going to be paying that much attention at a lower serving rate.
Well, whatever the definitions are, that'll be important. Right now, most of them underserved and unserved. If you're not getting 25-3, then you're eligible for service in an underserved category today.
Yes, today.
So I was really just trying to zero in on what I think Eagles Landing participants were sort of asking earlier, which is there's this CARES money and there's a lot of other government money coming through. And while BTS has a contract with LCBA to deliver to certain areas, if those areas do not get served based upon the pace at which they're moving, that Eagle Landing and any other of the 700 customers that would have been served by BTS have a solution. They will be able to take advantage of the other work with VATI, ABB, and APB. And we all believe that to be true.
We believe that
Okay.
APB will be in that peninsula, based on the knowledge we have right now. It's primarily Dominion that will be putting the lines in, and APB really doing drops, because there's a huge solar project which is going to go from the bottom of Mary Point Peninsula up to Northumberland state line. Initially, Don told me it was 1,500 acres, and I heard much larger quoted in the paper.
I read that article.
Yeah, and so when you look at it, the majority of APB fiber that's going in is mainly on the 354 Peninsula, because it's in the Northern Neck Electric Co-op area as opposed to the Dominion area.
Okay, I think that that's good news, though, in response to our,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
guests and our continued monitoring of and management of the BTS contract, which is moving along. Right, Nicholas?
I think everything is pointing much to, to better news than we anticipated, with ABB building out better, upgrade their network, APB on board, and BTS being successful, more successful than maybe earlier. So,
John?
all good things for the county.
That's great.
I just wanted to add for BTS, if we want to grade them, so far I would give them an A for effort and probably a D for execution. So somewhere in between, because they've got the network up, then it goes down, and then it goes up, then they found they're really experimenting and understanding new technology themselves, and so.
So service quality is part of execution.
It's not consistent.
Yeah, okay.
But they have been extremely diligent. I mean, I get telephone calls when they know their network's going to go down. I get a call after they know it's come back up. So they're being very communicative, very proactive, but it is still a struggle for them to get things consistently running the way it's supposed to run.
Very helpful.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. Okay, NTIA. I wanted Nicholas to give us an update because, excuse me, when we first mentioned NTIA in May, I think it was May that came out, May or April, we were saying how, this is something we'll look at, et cetera. And if we have applied for it, it has to be in mid-August. And Nicholas had talked to some possible partners for us, and he has the response from his queries.
Well, although they all said that they would, would love to participate, they never really pushed the ball forward where it was going to happen. I think the concern is that right now with the Valley grant and the RDOF grant, everything's supposed to be served. So there really, in theory, when these grants are done, there should be no unserved customers.
Right.
So there's really nothing at this point, to apply that to.
Although, one question on that, the reason I thought the NTIA grant might be attractive is because it doesn't matter if you have other grants. So Lancaster County is committing to spend $575,000 to work with APB. And is there any opportunity to use the NTIA to offset some of that 575 and have service faster? Because I believe ABB is deploying, well, VATI, under the VATI, that's going to be deployed faster than the APB, right? It's 2022 versus 2024?
Right.
Do I have that right? And so that if there's a way to go after some of the NTIA funding to reduce the county's cost, because as I think Gary is pointing out at one of our, maybe June 2nd, that if we don't use that 575 here, we'll use it for the county citizens someplace else. So is that an opportunity, or is it just too close to the deadline to?
It's too close because it was mid-August is when it's due.
Right,
And you have to have a partner, and those.
and we don't have a partner.
We don't have, they were
Okay.
like, that's what Nicholas was
That's the
referring
bottom line.
to. They didn't want to.
Well, the option on this one is going back to APB and saying, look, this is a no-match grant,
Right,
okay? First off, I don't think there's enough time to do.
Pull it off.
Pull it off
Yeah.
right now. But one potential thing, instead of the 575 we're paying, as you pointed out, we could have just said, look, you don't even have to put in, they say it's nice if you put in 10% match, that's all. And then if we took their, now, the question is.
but we don't know if we're winning, so, right?
Yeah,
We're
exactly, you got one in the.
bird in the hand,
Versus.
the bush.
question
Two in the
mark.
bush, yeah, okay.
And then 575 really, on the scheme of things, is relatively low. For
Okay.
the amount of homes that the county is investing. It's not, if it's truly 2,800 homes, then it's less than the 213, you gotta do the math.
right,
But.
okay.
Yeah, I wanted to bring this up because since we put it out there and it's on our website that we're looking at this, we need to close that. So when the questions come
Yeah.
up.
And I think right now, but the next round of NTIA is interesting. Was that,
No,
I think it's Nicholas.
oh, okay.
That's me, I'm sorry.
No apologies.
The NTIA now is looking broader than just infrastructure, okay? The mapping was incredible. You look at the SEC maps, and it says roughly 17 million aren't served, okay? Or don't have 25.3 or better, okay? If you look at the Biden administration, they say that number's 30 million. If you look at the NTIA plot, and I sent you just a screen capture, it says over 100 million. He didn't give the saying. Now, that also included in that 100 million are people who don't take the service. And the question is, why aren't they taking the service? Is it the economics? How do you go ahead and do it? It's just like the vaccine. How come you can't get everybody just to take a vaccine, we're done, okay?
Everybody doesn't want the internet.
Exactly. And so, there's tons of reasons behind it. So then the question is how they address it, and that will probably be in their next solicitation. So it may not just be infrastructure. It may be education, it may be, similar to the EBB program, somehow trying to figure out how to get the money into people's hands who need it. Maybe it's just laziness and saying, here, here's your connection, go. I don't know what the reasons are, but it does correlate. NTIA has the census data, block data, and they can go more granular than they will allow in this open access thing. And they can look, and they put in the, what is defined as HUD, low income, and it correlates very well with the non-served.
That doesn't
And
surprise me.
but it just shows you the economic as well as the internet divide and why, there's a lot of questions around why. And it's similar tribal communities, they do the same correlation. But the NTI database, they use 388 different databases. You know, I just quoted a few when I told you about the speed test, which is really what I wanted to get to. It's a real measure,
Right.
okay, as opposed to believing okay, we offer this and this and this. This is actually a true measure of what you're getting. And most people don't think, oh, okay, I have Apple, and so I don't get any Microsoft downloads. Well, if you have the Office suite for Apple, guess what? You're getting a Microsoft download and updates, particularly if you get the 365, you know,
Right.
the least version. So I think more people, it hits more people, but certainly, even if it's just Microsoft, it's a great way to get the measurements, which I hadn't thought of how they do it. But it's basically, they're measuring, well, like anybody, everybody collects so much data, and this is what's happened. So they're collecting everybody's internet connection that they do. And if you've got a lousy connection, they'll say, okay, this guy's below 25.3, or this guy's above 25.3. And everybody's using that just because of the FCC standard, which is also being discussed, not necessarily symmetrical, but pushing it up.
And Virginia has adopted.
Right, yeah,
Okay, well, I get it, no NTIA
for this year,
for this year.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else that I forgot or should have included on the agenda? I know I sent it out, I only had a couple of comments, so.
Yeah.
Okay, then the next thing is that we're going to be going into a closed session. And, there's my little note here. I gotta put my glasses on. Thanks, guys.
Okay, I'm gonna I have to log out and log back in on the
For the
other
closed,
one.
yeah, thanks, guys, take care.
So does
See you
Michelle
tomorrow.
have to do it too?
Are you going to log out and log
I
back
do.
in? Okay. I got to read my little thing here. I wrote it down.
Nicholas isn't part of the closed session?
No, he's
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
back. He got-
Coming into the
because of
closed
this-
session.
Oh, they've got it, okay.
Yeah, he
got
has,
it.
they both have to.
I pulled up Excel so I could give you the exact numbers. APB from RDOF has 2709 homes. I think I sent this. Yeah.
No.
No, no, no,
Oh,
not in.
haven't
no,
been
I was
ready.
just giving
He's
that.
just, yeah.
Excuse me?
Oh, that's right, we need
We
to
have to
adjourn.
adjourn. All
No,
righty.
you do not adjourn the public
No,
meeting.
you just,
You go into closed
Session.
session.
Oh, because we
Read
gotta
the
read
reason why you're
the,
going into closed
Session.
session.
I've
we
got my
vote,
little-
We go into
You got your
closed
cheat sheet?
session. When we come back out of closed session, we adjourn the meeting.
Yeah.
I just need a stopping point for the public version of
As soon as
You're-
somebody
you're
over there
correct.
reads the little paper,
yep. I put it in here. Where did I put it? I left it home. Oh, Michelle isn't there. I thought I brought it with me. Oh, I know we're going to do it by,
Why don't you just say,
we're going to close session to discuss contract issues per, I used to have those numbers
it's,
in my head.
it's 2.2-7311A29.
Nine.
okay.
All right,
Do
to
you need a
discuss.
second on that? Or do we just,
no, you have
No,
to
just
second.
state it.
okay, just state it, okay,
Now we are.
okay.
Going to, yeah,
Closed
we're going,
session.
we're going